Hey everybody, C.H.U.D here. I'd like to welcome you all back to my channel as I continue to celebrate October and Halloween. This is going to be a very special video. I have a Chud double feature review for Chud and Chud 2, Bud the Chud. I have a very special guest stopping by the channel. I have Rob S. Gray from the Wacky World Lounge stopping by to talk about Chud 2, Bud the Chud. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so let's get started. Before I cut over to the review, I wanted to take some time to talk about Chud memories. My earliest Chud memories go all the way back to the elementary school days with playing on the playground and pretending to be monsters with my friends. We had a Jason Voorhees, we had a Michael Myers, and I even had a friend who always wanted to be the werewolf from The Howling. So that's really cool. And from time to time, we would add in some lesser known monsters, and that's where Chud would come into play. Every now and then we would have a kid who would want to be Chud, so we would have a kid Chud monster. And if you actually knew what it stood for, which is cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller, then you were considered to be on a more elite level of monster knowledge. And that's it. That's my earliest memory of Chud. I hope you enjoyed the story. Chud is a fantastic 1984 creature feature. There is so much to like about this movie. It has an excellent assortment of characters with some high-quality actors. The setting for the movie is nothing short of amazing in my opinion. It's almost like a character itself, and it's definitely something that stands out about the movie, and it's very memorable. The movie takes place in New York where the streets are extremely dirty and grimy and covered in filth. The movie opens up with a woman walking her dog only to get attacked from something monstrous lurking just beneath the manhole cover. The next morning, a street cleaner comes by and picks up the trash and debris off the street, picking up the woman's shoe that lays next to the manhole cover. We will later learn that the missing woman is Police Captain Bosch's wife. Poverty is a major problem, and the homeless not only live on the streets and alleyways of the city, they also have resulted to living underground in the city's subterranean labyrinth of tunnels. It's under the city that we learn that the government has illegally stored some toxic waste that has exposed the underground people to radiation, turning them into hideous, cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. I wanted to wrap this review up by talking about one of my standout characters, and that is AJ, the Reverend Shepherd, played by Daniel Stern of the Home Alone movies. He is great in this movie, and you can tell that he really cares deeply and has a connection with the homeless people. Along with Captain Botch, the two set out to expose the government officials who illegally stored toxic waste under the city streets, exposing the underground people to radiation that turns them into monsters. I had an absolute blast watching Chud.
Well, good evening. Rob S. Gray here from the Wacky World Lounge, and I am just thrilled to be here guesting on my good buddy Jay Superawesome's channel. And Jay gave me the specific honor of talking about Chud 2. Bud the Chud. And he asked me to do a review, but I'm not the best at following directions, so I'm not really going to do that. I'm just going to talk about some other random things. But I will say, Chud 2 is one of those cases, which was so often the case in the 80s, where you would have a serious first movie, especially in horror, and then the sequel would be a comedy for some reason. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Well, in the case of Chud 2, it worked, and it worked big time. As much as I enjoy the first Chud, I like Chud 2 a whole lot better. And I like it so much because of two specific reasons. Well, not just because of those specific reasons, but those are what really make it stand out. The first being Garrett Graham, who played Bud the Chud. I mean, this amazing character actor, who really should have his name up there in the Hall of Fame of B-movie, sci-fi, and horror movie character actors. This fella just does not get the respect he deserves. He had a small part in Shopping Mall. He was Beef in Phantom of the Paradise. He did a bunch of TV shows. He was on an episode or two of Star Trek. But most importantly, he was the sleazy father in Terrorvision, which is another fantastic movie. And you want to talk about probably the greatest dad performance in any movie of all time ever? That is the sleazy dad in Terrorvision. If you haven't seen Terrorvision, rush out right now to wherever you can run to and get DVDs and get Terrorvision. Get it twice. Get it on DVD and Blu-ray. What the heck ever. Now, the next thing I would talk about, and something else that is very important as well, the theme song. That's kind of a lost art these days, is movies that have theme songs that actually would say the title of the film in the song. And to me, it just makes every movie just that much better when there's a theme song saying its name, because you got to remember what you're watching, and a theme song that helps. And Bud the Chud is just a fantastic one. Matter of fact, why don't we stop and just take a listen to just a few seconds of it. Yeah, wasn't that amazing? Don't you want to rush out right now to the same place that you're rushing to get the Terrorvision, Blu-ray, and DVD, and VHS, and get Bud the Chud, Chud 2 as well? Well, you should. And I'd like to just give a big thank you to J Superawesome for inviting me here on his channel. I feel very special to be the very first special guest he's ever had. I don't know that that's a fact, probably isn't, but I'm gonna claim that anyway. And if you're so inclined, please do go check out my YouTube channel, the Wacky World Lounge, full of all kinds of sleazy nonsense. Mostly B-movies and exploitation films, but there's some other good stuff that slips its way in there. So, yeah, check it out and keep it wacky.
Well, hey, we're back. Thank you so much, Rob. That was great. You guys be sure to go over and check out Rob's channel at the Wacky World Lounge. He has so many amazing videos. I'm going to leave a link in the description box below to his channel. I'm so happy to have him as my very first special guest on the J Superawesome channel. Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate the time you took to make the video, and I do appreciate your friendship. Now, with all that being said, let's dive a little deeper into Chud 2, Bud the Chud. It had been a really long time since I had seen Chud 2, Bud the Chud. I remember being really excited when this was originally released. I remember first seeing this cover art in the video store. My family rented the VHS tape, and I couldn't wait to watch it. And to say that this movie wasn't quite what we expected it to be is an understatement. We went into this movie expecting to see the Chud creatures from the first movie and wasn't expecting it to be a comedy. My family, and myself included, were pretty disappointed with it way back then. Fast forward many years later, and giving this movie another try, and this time around knowing exactly what this movie is from the get-go, I can honestly say that I see this movie in a completely different light, and I had a blast watching it this time around. Within the opening moments of this movie, a doctor walks through the door, addresses a nurse, and asks her for his therapy for the patient downstairs. She hands him a syringe filled with green reanimator-like liquid. He walks down the hall, and then you soon hear a nurse paging Code Blue in room 252, paging Dr. Buckholter, room 252, Code Blue. Moments later, she comes back over the intercom to page Dr. Buckholter once again and asks, "Where the hell are you?" All of this within the opening moments of the movie, and I was already laughing. He proceeds to a lower floor where he injects the serum into a corpse that we will come to know as Bud the Chud. Within moments, Bud is reanimated and comes to life. In a room close by, in the exact same hospital, the military are debating on canceling the Chud military soldier experiment due to cannibalistic side effects. Meanwhile, Bud attacks the doctor who injected him with the serum, and immediately the military are there to take action. This opening sequence ends with a slight hint of how the movie might actually end, or at least how these creatures, zombies, can be stopped. From here, we move to the town of Winter Haven, where Bud is being transported to the Center of Disease Control. Kevin, Steve, and Kate are an inseparable trio of friends doing some extracurricular snooping in the school science lab when, among the test tubes and beakers, they discover a corpse. But before they can say abracadabra, the body disappears rolling down Route 51, strapped to a gurney. The kids need a spare stiff, and fast. What they find is Bud the Chud, a half-dead decomposing humanoid, the result of a military experiment gone haywire. When Bud sets out on a killing spree, the kids, the army, the police, and the FBI are hot on his trail, trying to save the entire town from becoming Chudified. It's Halloween night and the townspeople are out trick-or-treating, and we see a really odd and completely random appearance from Robert Englund walking across the road, while we hear the trick-or-treaters explaining their candy haul. One got an apple and one got a rock. Bud begins to survey his Chud horde moments before he prepares to attack the town. He picks up a small child, and I want to say around 4 or 5 years old, but instead of munching on the small child, he sees a group of teens talking about a Halloween party, looks back at the child, and actually calls him a small fry and puts him down. As the horde walks away, we get a close-up of the young child who actually says, "Bitchin' costumes." There's so many funny moments throughout this movie. There's one scene where the FBI agent and the Army general are traveling down the road together. The FBI agent says, "What the hell is that?" The Army general replies, "Just the goddamn ugliest barber in the world." And there's also a lot of classic lines such as, "These are chuds, very hungry people with bad complexions and a brain that just doesn't know when to stop." Overall, I had an absolute blast watching Chud 2 Bud the Chud. And that's going to do it for this video. Be sure to go over and check out Rob's channel at the Wacky World Lounge. I'm going to leave a link in the description box below so you can go over and check out his channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you think of the video. And as always, I would like to thank you all for watching.